Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Gurok here, Casual Gamer Dad, coming at you guys with a quick precursor video to the upcoming weekend extravaganza that is the Diablo 4 server slam, where I may or may not make my soft return to streaming. At the very least, I'll at least be recording my gameplay and posting it up on the channel for you all to view. And they have, about 9 hours and 44 minutes ago, posted up some unofficial patch notes. And I gotta say, I got some mixed feelings about it, but I just wanted to make a quick video and just go over these with you guys. Now, I'm gonna be skipping certain parts of them. Most notably, this is not going to be a full thing, but I will put a link to this page on Wowhead in the description below, so you guys can see the full things. I'm really only going to cover Barbarian, Druid, and Necromancer, as those are the three classes that I really care about. I don't really want to play Rogue or Sorcerer, so I'm going to kind of skip over those. So if you are a Sorcerer or Rogue player, I am sorry. But let's see, we have documented every change made to skills, talents, passives, and key passives for all classes in patch 0.9 of Diablo 4 Server Slam client, which is now available for preload. Diablo 4 Server Slam will start Friday, May 12th at 12 p.m. PDT. So that's like around, like, I don't know, they said 12 p.m. PDT last time too for open beta, but it went live at 12 p.m. EST, so I don't know. Anyway, so table of contents, we start with Barbarian. They go in alphabetical order, so whatever. So right out the gate with Barbarian, we see something very nice. Flat 10% passive damage reduction has been added. Some skill tree passive had their damage reduction effects reduced to compensate, and that's fine. Barbarians were very, very squishy, ridiculously so. To the point where if you did not take all of the Thorns passives and put Thorns on all of your gear, you would just die before anything else did. It was dumb. It was dumb and needed to be changed. I thought I had read somewhere that they had given us 20% passive damage reduction. Maybe they decided to reduce it down. I don't know, but I'll take it. 10% passive damage reduction is perfectly fine. And then they've changed some of the skills here. So we can see Bash. They've changed the enhanced Bash passive, where damaging a stunned enemy with Bash now grants you 10% base life as Fortify, up from 5%. Double this amount when using a two-hander. So that's a buff. That's pretty good, especially if you want to focus around Fortify. Hoda, lucky hit chance has been increased by 10%. I'm not really going to touch on the lucky hit chances. There's a ton of them as you go down the list, so I don't really want to keep covering them, but I'll just cover the meat and potatoes here in the description. So slam your hammer down with the Fury of the Ancients, dealing 50% damage, down from 56% to a concentrated area. So the raw damage on Hoda got nerfed. I'm not a big Hoda fan to begin with, so I'm not too upset about it. But you can see with the Violent Hammer of the Ancients passive, after overpowering with Hoda, you deal 30% more damage for 5 seconds. This has gone up from 2, so you know, you kind of get a little more bang for your buck if you take Violent Hoda. But overall, your raw damage when you first pick it up is going to be a little less. I mean, 6% isn't the biggest deal, so I'm not too upset about it. Whirlwind, they did some Whirlwind changes. So Fury cost has gone up by 5 from 20 to 25. Rapidly attack surrounding enemies for 17% damage, up from 13. So a minor buff, but still a decent buff. I did mess around with Whirlwind a little bit. I felt like it didn't hit as hard as it should. With the passive enhanced Whirlwind, gain 1 Fury each time Whirlwind deals direct damage to an enemy, or 4 Fury against elite enemies. That's gone up from 3, so it just helps you maintain your Fury as you're just holding down the button and spinning to win. Furious Whirlwind, while using a slashing weapon, Whirlwind also inflicts 40% of its base damage is bleeding over 5 seconds. This is up from 20%, so that's a huge buff. That's big. And if you decide to rock out a bleed build with Whirlwind as your spender, it's now much more viable with that 40%. That's pretty good. I like that. Double Swing. So nothing changes to Double Swing as itself, but enhanced Double Swing. If Double Swing damages a stunned or knocked down enemy, you gain 25 Fury. This has gone up from 15, so that's pretty nice. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I experimented a little bit with Double Swing, but I was kind of like about it, so yeah. This one I'm a little sad about. So Upheaval, obviously lucky hit chance changed, but with Furious Upheaval, if you decide to take this, dealing direct damage to an enemy with a skill that is not Upheaval causes your next cast of Upheaval to deal 3% increased damage, stacking up to 10 times, down from 8%. So that's a little sad. That makes me kind of sad, Panda. But I mean, I suppose, you know, I didn't mess around with Upheaval too much, but I do remember it doing a ton of damage, so I do suppose this was necessary. I don't know. I don't, especially this early when the game isn't even completely released yet, I just don't like seeing nerfs. I think it's kind of silly, especially in a game when we're supposed to just be walking meat grinders, but hey, you know, we'll see. Let's see, Iron Skin, the enhanced Iron Skin, passive Iron Skin barrier now absorbs 10% more of your maximum life over 5%, so that's pretty good. Strategic Iron Skin also grants 15% base life as Fortify, double this amount if cast while below half health, so that's up from 9%, so that's huge. So they've basically made it so Iron Skin is actually worth using, especially if you're doing a Fortify type of build, but even without that, it's still pretty good. Challenging Shout, taunt nearby enemies and gain 40% damage reduction for 6 seconds. That's sad. I did like the 8-second duration, but it is what it is. And then they changed Strategic Challenging Shout. While Challenging Shout is active, gain thorns equal to 30% of your maximum life, down from 50%. So in the wake of giving us a flat 10% damage reduction, they heavily nerfed our thorns from 50 to 30%. That hurts. That hurts because, ouch. I think it'll still be good at 30%, but that's a pretty big nerf. Rallying Cry, bellow a Rallying Cry, increasing your move speed by 30% and resource regeneration by 40% for 6 seconds, and nearby allies for 3 seconds. 40% down from 50. Cat is in my lap. I don't think that was necessary. I mean, sure, there were moments when I just had too much fury to know what to do with, but that was mostly because after I decided to change my build to a frenzy focused build, and I mean frenzy's a generator, so obviously I'm going to have a ton of fury. So I don't know. I think that's a little silly, but hey, you know, far be it for me to understand if that was balanced or not, I guess. I don't know. And then if you took Tactical Rallying Cry now generates 20 Fury down from 25. That's a big pain in the dick. And grants you an additional 20% resource generation down from 50. So now you can cap out at, let's see, 40, 50, 60% as opposed to 100% resource generation. That's kind of a bit of a big nerf overall. And then the generating 20 over 25 Fury, that's dicks. Because part of the reason why you would take Rallying Cry is strictly so that you would generate Fury from 0 up to 25. So you'd at least be able to do something. And now they've just kind of taken that from us. That sucks. That's dumb. I don't like that. Warcry. Bellow a Mighty Warcry, increasing your damage dealt by 15% for 6 seconds. So that got nerfed down by 2 seconds because it used to be 8. And nearby allies for 3 seconds, down from 4. Again, I don't know why that was necessary. I don't feel that 8 seconds was too long, but hey, you know. And then Power Warcry. If at least 6 enemies are nearby when you cast Warcry, your damage bonus is increased by an additional 10%, down from 30%. So again, nerfing it down. They're just bringing the damage down. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. If you take Mighty Warcry, Warcry grants you 15% base life as Fortify, down from 28%. So that seems a little strange to me, because if you remember up here, right? Where was it? Iron Skin. They beefed up Iron Skin to go from 9% to 15% life as Fortify. If you take Strategic, wouldn't that synergize really well if you took Mighty Warcry? So you'd just be like Iron Skin, Warcry, and you just have all this base life as Fortify. I'm kind of confused at what they're trying to do here. So they buff one up and then they nerf the other. I don't know. A little confused. A little confused why they would do that. Kick, leap, and Iron Maelstrom all just had changes to their lucky hit. Most of it got nerfed except for leap, which got buffed up by 33%. Again, lucky hit chance. I mean, I think that's just crit. That's just, it is what it is. Wrath of the Berserker. Okay, so they removed the lucky hit chance from Wrath of Berserker outright. And now it just says explode into rage, knocking back surrounding enemies and gaining berserking and unstoppable for 5 seconds. So it basically stays the same, they just changed the wording. So really not much different for Wrath of Berserker, except for the lack of lucky hit, which seems weird. Why it was even there in the first place, but hey, whatever. Alright, so the passives, okay. Martial Vigor, damage reduction against elites is increased by 369%, reduced down from 12%, so that got a nerf, which makes sense because of the flat 10%. Tough as nails, increase your thorns by 369%. That's down from 20, 40, 60%. That's huge. Like, tough as nails used to be like the passive to take, and now it's that's giant, guys. That's huge. I'm kind of upset about that one. I think that was too much. Doing like 10, 20, 30% I think would have been fine, but reducing it from 20, 40, 60 to 369, even with the 10% damage reduction, I think that's just silly. That is silly. That's very silly. It goes on, when enemies hit you, they take an additional 1% or 10% of your thorns as bleeding damage over 5 seconds. That's up from 1%, so that's good. They gave it more damage from thorns as bleeding, but still, like, this, why? Booming Voice. Your shout skill effect durations are increased by 8, 16, 24%, down from 10, 20, 30%. Again, I don't understand why that was necessary. I mean, a 30% longer duration shout skill was really not that much. It was just like 2 seconds, I think. So, I mean, again, I can't really math off the top of my head, so you can feel free to correct me in the comments, but that's still like, I think that was unnecessary. I don't know why. I think that's goofy. I think that's dumb, and they should revert that. Guttural Yell. Your shout skills cause enemies to deal 4, 8, 12% less damage for 5 seconds. That's down from 8, 16, 24. That's okay. This one's fine. Again, it coincides with our flat 10% damage reduction just applied to us at all times. So this is okay. Because also, like, you don't want to completely like remove the danger from enemies. So that one's fine. Aggressive resistance, gain 369% damage reduction while berserking, down from 4, 8, 12%. That's not too much of a nerf. It seems like it's small, but it's really not that much of a nerf, so I'm not too mad about that. I also, with the builds that I ran, I had a hard time maintaining berserking, so that's just a me thing. But still, you know. Defensive stance. Increase the damage reduction gained while you are fortified by an additional 246%. This is down from 369%. Again, it's not that much, but it's still, it's sad to see things getting nerfed. And counteroffensive. While you have fortify for over 50% of your maximum life, you deal 4, 8, 12% increased damage. That's down from 5, 10, 15%. Again, small nerfs. Small, but still is that word I'm getting very tired of saying. Nerf. Getting upset about that word. Anyway, okay, so that is all the barbarian changes. We're going to go into Druid now. I'm going to try and be quicker about this. Druid, I'm actually very upset about Druid, and I will explain why. Okay, there's some good things for the casters if you want to play your Druid as a caster, but you'll see. Okay. So Earth Spike, it generates 10 spirit now. That's up from 8. Lucky hit chance, again, I'm not going to touch on those. And then if you take Fierce Earth Spike, you fortify for 4% of your base life. Whenever Earth Spike damages enemies who are stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. This is up from 2%, so that's a buff. Buffs all around for Earth Spike. Claw now generates 10 spirit, up from 9, so a 1-point buff. Storm Strike generates 14 spirit, down from 15, so that's a 1-point nerf. Maul, this is the one I'm happy about because y'all know I'm very biased. I want to be a bear. So Maul now generates 14 spirit up from 11. That's good. That's good. Enhanced Maul. If an enemy is hit by Maul, then fortify for 2% of your base life. So that's actually, I mean, that's not bad. It's better than 1. It's better than 1%. So, Wild Maul. Maul now has a 20% chance to knock down enemies for 1 second. That's up from 10%. This can actually be useful. It's good for CCing enemies. And then Fierce Maul increases the range and radius of Maul by 25%. That's down by 30%. So, I mean, that one feels a little weird. I'm not sure why they would reduce that. Even at 30%, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But they've also mentioned in previous patch notes that they were making Maul much more rewarding to use, or not rewarding to use, but just much easier to use because it did feel clunky. So I'm hoping that maybe it's like an animation change or a speed change. That's really what I'll judge it on. Wind Shear, just lucky hit chance change, so not too crazy about that. Pulverize, okay, here's another one. Again, bear. Enhanced Pulverize. Your next Pulverize will overpower every 12 seconds while you remain healthy. So this has been increased from 10. So that, in a sense, that's kind of a nerf. Even though it's gone up, it's kind of a nerf because it used to happen every 10 seconds. Now it's every 12 seconds. So now you have to wait 2 seconds longer. Again, it's 2 seconds, but it seems strange why they would increase that. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And then Raging Pulverize. Enemies overpowered by Pulverize are stunned for 2 seconds. So, I mean, it's essentially the same thing. It's just been reworded. So nothing with that has really changed. It's just rewording. Landslide. Crush enemies between 2 pillars of earth, dealing up to 75% damage. That's been nerfed down from 112% damage. That's a pretty big nerf. I don't understand why, but it's a big nerf. Tornado, just a lucky hit chance change. Lightning Storm. Conjure a growing lightning storm that deals 32% damage per strike. That's up from 25%. And then the number of strikes increase the longer the storm is channeled, up to a maximum of 5 at once. So they've changed the wording at the end here, but they've increased the damage from 25 to 32%. So if you're a caster, you like using Lightning Storm, good for you, you've gotten a slight buff. Shred. Shapeshift into a werewolf and perform a trio of combo attacks. First attack, dash towards the target and deal 25% damage. So this is just a text change. That's all they did. They just spell checked this. Literally, that's it. That's all they did. They just spell checked it. Nothing else has changed. Enhanced Shred. Shred gains 30% attack speed and heals for 1% of your maximum life if an enemy is struck. That is down from 2%. So that's sad to see. I did play some Wolf Druid build for a while, and this is very sad to see because the lifesteal on Wolf was pretty good, and now this makes it kind of meh. Like 1%, like I know 2% was kind of meh, but 1% is really meh. You might as well just not take it. Cyclone Armor. Passive. Powerful winds surround you, granting 10% non-physical damage reduction. That's down from 20%. Active. The winds rapidly expand, knocking back enemies and dealing 30% damage, up from 15%. So our damage reduction got nerfed by 10%, but we gained 15% damage on the active ability. So kind of a little bit of a trade-off. Enhanced Cyclone Armor. Enemies who are knocked back by Cyclone Armor are slowed by 70% for 2 seconds. So now it lasts 1 second longer. More CC, I guess that's pretty good, especially if you're a caster. You don't want anything getting to you. Earthen Bulwarks, just a lucky hit chance change. Debilitating Roar. Shapeshift into a werebear and bellow a mighty roar, reducing nearby enemies' damage dealt by 70% for 4 seconds. So that's a buff. So it's up to 70% now from 50%. So that's good. You use this, you're going to reduce more damage. That's nice. I like that. Innate Debilitating Roar. If you take this passive, Debilitating Roar now also slows enemies by 65%, up from 40% for its duration. So this got buffed. That's pretty good. Good control, good damage reduction. Just overall, you're going to pop this thing whenever it's off cooldown. It's nice. It's good. That's good. I'm happy to see that change. Poison Creeper, it used to be Vine Creeper, it's now been renamed. Let's see, the passive just got a text change, changed from Vine to Poison Creeper, and then active, Vine strangle all surrounding enemies, immobilizing them for 2 seconds and poisoning them for 45% damage over 2 seconds. That's up from 15. So they've made Poison Creeper deal more damage. Wolves, passive summon 2 wolves, so the passive is the same. I'm not going to read that. Active, direct your wolves to focus an enemy, leaping to them and striking for 110% damage, up from 35%. So they definitely made wolves as a summon much more potent, because you're going to be spamming the active every time it's up anyway. And 110% damage, that's a huge buff. So that's a huge damage buff there. Ravens, again, I'm not going to read the passive because it didn't change. The active, the target area is swarmed with ravens, dealing 160% damage over 6 seconds. That's up from 85%. So again, summons ravens, they got buffed. That's nice. Enhanced ravens, you have 5% increased critical strike chance against enemies for 6 seconds after they are hit by ravens. So that's just a text change. So nothing really crazy there. Hurricane is lucky hit chance. Trample. Now this one was interesting. Obviously the lucky hit chance that went down, that's whatever. Shapeshift into a werebear, become unstoppable, and charge forward, dealing 75% damage and knocking back enemies. That's 75% up from 25%, so that's a big buff. And then if you take enhanced trample, trample deals 150% bonus damage. This bonus is reduced by 50% for each enemy hit after the first. So trample deals 150% bonus damage, up from 30%. So that's a huge buff if you take enhanced trample. But the bonus, which used to be 15% reduction for each enemy hit after the first, is now increased up to 50%. So if you're going to hit more than like 2 enemies with this, it's going to be kind of like meh. But that's still like 150% bonus damage. That's bananas. Trample is now pretty good to use. Boulder, lucky hit chance change, and then just some text change, so nothing really crazy there. Cataclysm, okay, Cataclysm cooldown is now 60 seconds, down from 80, and just a text change and a slight change to the lucky hit chance. So they reduced the cooldown on it, so you can now use it more often. That's pretty good. 20-second reduction in cooldown, that's nice. Petrify got a 10-second reduction in cooldown, so it's now 50 seconds down from 60. Grizzly Rage is the same thing, 50 seconds down from 60. And Lacerate is 45 seconds down from 50 with a lucky hit chance reduction, which is, you know, whatever. So, alright, that's pretty good. The ultimates are, you can use them a little more often. That's nice. Okay, now Druid passives. Okay, here we go. Wild Impulses. Your core skills cost 3, 6, 9% more spirit. That's down from 5, 10, 15% more spirit, but deal 5, 10, 15% increased damage, which is down from 10, 20, 30% damage. So, you know, they're going to cost more spirit to use, but they'll deal more damage. So in a sense, it's a buff and a nerf, right? It's a balance. They've made it so it doesn't cost as much as it used to, but they're going to deal less increased damage. So yeah. Abundance. Basic skills generate 6, 12, 18% more spirit. That's down from 10, 20, 30%. Spirit generation was probably one of my biggest complaints about melee druid builds, or just druid builds in general. So it seems like, in a sense, that this is a nerf, but given that they've increased the spirit gain from just about all of our basic abilities, our generators, with the exception of what was it, Storm Strike, I think this is probably going to balance it out a little bit more. So I'm not too upset about it, but again, I don't like seeing things getting reduced this early on. Predatory Instinct. Critical strike chance against close enemies is increased by 246%. That's down from 369%, so that's a nerf. It's kind of a shame. This is a good passive to take. Call of the Wild is just a text change. Nothing else changed in this. It just changed it from your companions to your companion skills. So it's just spell checking. Elemental Exposure, Lucky Hit. Your storm skills have up to a 10% chance, down from 20%, to make enemies vulnerable for 1, 2, 3 seconds. So that's a slight nerf, 10% nerf. Charged Atmosphere every, so this is just a text change, yeah, every 18, 15, 12 seconds. Lightning Bolt hits. Okay, so yeah, so this is just text change. Electric Shock is just a text change. Bad Omen is just a text change. Provocation. Okay, when you remain in werebear form for at least 30, 25, 20 seconds, your next skill will overpower. So this is, believe it or not, this is a nerf. Okay, because it used to be 25, 20, 15. You know, each rank that you put into it reduces it. So it used to be at max rank, you'd only have to remain in werebear form for 15 seconds, and then you could guarantee your next skill would overpower. Now you have to remain at max rank in werebear form for 20 seconds. And given the mob density in the last beta, very rarely are you ever going to be in werebear form for 20 fucking seconds. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't like this one. I think this one's silly because there is a werebear build that requires you to be able to overpower your enemies and overpower them often, and I just think that's silly. Heightened Senses just got a text change. Nothing else about this changed. Druid key passives. Perfect Storm. It looks like, alright, your storm skills that you cast grant 1 spirit down from 2 and deal 15% down from 20 increased damage when damaging a vulnerable, immobilized, or slowed enemy. So it looks like they had some slight text changes and they nerfed the spirit gen by 1 and they reduced the increased damage by 5%. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the necromancer if the baby wakes up. Oh man. So this is sorceress. We don't care about that. Road, we don't care about them because I don't play them. Again, I will put a link in the description below if you want to read over those. And last but not least is Necromancer. Okay. See if I can do this quick. Necromancer skills and talents. Okay, Bone Splinters. Generate Essence 6 up from 5. Fire 3 Bone Splinters dealing 8% damage down from 22% each. Each subsequent time an enemy is hit by the same Bone Splinters, you gain 1 essence. So they heavily nerfed this. And if you take Enhanced Bone Splinters now has a 25% chance, down from 30, to fire 2 additional projectiles if cast while you have 50 or more essence. So 5% nerf on this, and a huge percentile nerf in the damage of Bone Splinters. I think that's a little silly. That is definitely silly. Hemorrhage, lucky hit chance change. Decompose now generates 7 essence per second. That's up from 6, so that's a small buff. Reap just had a text change on initiates Reap, so that's not anything too crazy. Blood Surge has a lucky hit chance reduction. Blood Lance, okay, Blood Lance, it now costs 15 essence, that's up from 10. Reduce lucky hit chance, and throw a blood lance that lingers in an enemy for 3 seconds, dealing 60% damage, 67% damage, sorry, that's up from 45 to the enemy and all other lanced enemies. So the damage got buffed, but the essence cost got not nerfed, but increased. So it costs more, but it does more. So yeah, it kind of balances out. Paranormal Blood Lance. If you take this passive while at least 2 enemies or a boss are affected by Blood Lance, you get 15% IAS, and Blood Lance's essence cost is reduced by 3. That's up from 2. So that's, in a sense, that's a buff because it'll cost 3 less essence. That's pretty nice, I guess. Bone Spear. There was a change to enhance Bone Spear passive. Bone Spear breaks into 3 shards when it is destroyed, dealing 25% damage each. That's up from 10%, so that's actually a buff. That's pretty nice. This one right here was what I was very concerned about, and it's sad to see, but it's not that big of a deal. So Corpse Explosion. Detonate a corpse, dealing 50% damage, that's down from 75, to surrounding enemies. So that's a nerf. Not a huge one, but it's still a nerf. And then if you take Plagued Corpse Explosion passive, Corpse Explosion deals 8% increased damage to enemies that are slowed, stunned, or vulnerable. These damage bonuses can stack. So it's 8% increased damage down from 10%. So that got nerfed as well. Only by 2%, but still a nerf. Now, I know they said in some previous notes they were going to nerf Corpse Explosion. I was scared because I didn't see how much they were planning on nerfing it by. So I'm glad that it's not completely just dead, but I am sad to see that it got nerfed because I feel like Necromancer was just the right amount of powerful. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's just me, but Blood Mist cooldown is now 24 seconds, up from 20, so that's kind of a nerf. And then just some wording change here, changing from damage to enemies and heal for 0.5% of your maximum life. So nothing else changed, it just has a longer cooldown now. Kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Decrepify, just some wording change on here, does the same thing. Corpse Tendrils. If you take the Blighted Corpse Tendrils passive, Corpse Tendrils has a 30% chance to drop Blood Orb when damaging enemies, so some wording change, and it's now a 30% chance, up from 20. So that's gotten buffed. Your Golem. The passive has changed. You are now protected by a Golem with X life that attacks for 17% damage, down from 35%. Golem sheds corpses as it takes damage. So they nerfed the Golem damage. Kind of sad about that, but okay. Army of the Dead, lucky hit chance change. Blood Wave, lucky hit chance change. Passives, Necromancer passives, okay, imperfectly balanced. Core skills cost 369% more essence, that's down from 5, 10, 15%, but deal 5, 10, 15% increased damage, that is nerfed from 10, 20, 30% damage. So again, kind of like similar with the Druid, they will cost slightly less more essence, if that makes sense, but they will do less damage than they would have before, so to speak. Fueled by Death, you deal 369% increased damage for 6 seconds. That's 369% down from 4812, so minor. And increased damage for 6 seconds, that's up from 4. So again, it's a balance, right? Less increased damage, longer duration. Skeletal Mage Mastery. Increase the damage and life of your skeletal mages by 20, 40, 60%. That is up from 15, 30, 45%. That's good because skeletal mages are made of paper. Golem Mastery. Increase the damage and life of your golem by 25, 50, 75%. That's up from 15, 30, 45%. So that's probably why they nerfed the golem damage overall. Because if you take this, then they're going to do a shit ton of damage. So I guess that balances out. Bonded in Essence. Every 5 seconds, your skeletal priest's healing will heal your skeletons for an additional 20, 40. Okay, so that's just a text change. I'm sorry, I didn't read that beforehand. That's my fault. So that's just a text change. Nothing crazy there. Death's Defense. So this is interesting. Your minions cannot lose more than 75%, 60%, 45% of their maximum life from a single damage instance. So that's an increase, but it's a nerf, so to speak. So at max rank, they'll now take, or they'll now be able to not lose more than 45% of the maximum life, and that's up from 25%. So okay, yeah, so they're just making it so your minions are taking more damage, basically. They did say that they were going to make minions a little more or a little less durable, yeah. And then Necromancer key passives, Shadow Blight. Let's see, shadow damage, blah, 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 blah. All right, it looks like this is just a text change as well, so nothing about this changed. So that's the rundown of the three classes that I enjoy, that I do plan on playing. Once the game goes live, which one am I going to play during the server slam? Probably the Barbarian, honestly. You know, or the Druid. It's going to be one of those two for sure. Necromancer, I think I can put on the back burner for now. Overall, my opinion with these changes there are definitely some good ones, but it just really makes me mad to see that they're already nerfing things, and that they're nerfing certain things about certain classes that I feel like were unnecessary, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to see this trend of, you know, all the classes just constantly getting nerfed, because as someone who has played Diablo for a very, very long time, like, I'm talking, I played Diablo 1 when it was released. I was just a young boy back then. Diablo 2, I've played for, how long has it been out? 20 years? 25 years? I've played Diablo 2 ever since it was released. And the whole core essence of Diablo is that you start off weak, sure, but once you get to a certain point, you are literally just a walking avatar of destruction. So to see them already, when the game has only had a closed beta and an open beta, nerfing abilities and nerfing skills and nerfing certain things that people found worked with certain niche builds or certain legendary powers, I feel like they're jumping the gun, because I don't know if the case with Server Slam is going to be the same as it was with Open Beta, but Open Beta and Early Access Beta both had heavily increased drop rates, meaning you could go head to toe full legendary gear with all the legendary fixes you wanted for whatever build you wanted to play, but well before you were even level 25, which was the level cap. I think it was 25, yeah. So if it's the same in Server Slam, sure, okay, I get it. That'd be nice. But once the game goes live, you're not going to be head to toe legendary by like level 20. That's not how it's going to work. So already nerfing abilities based on these builds that people were using at level 20 in a beta, it kind of makes me upset. I feel like they really got to start adopting this idea of, instead of bringing certain abilities, certain builds down to meet the ones that aren't performing as well, they need to leave them where they are and use them as a baseline and say, okay, this is really powerful, but we want people to play, like, for instance, if, like, you know, they nerfed down the raw damage of Hammer of the Ancients. Maybe they were like, hey, a lot of people are playing Hoda. Well, maybe instead of nerfing Hoda, leave it at the 56% damage, but then just take, you know, boost Whirlwind up to 20% damage. Boost double swing damage. You know, instead of nerfing the damage of Upheaval, you know, leave it at 8%. I don't know, like, I don't know. Overall, I think, you know, Barbarian's going to be in a good state. I think it'll be interesting to see. Druid, I'm really curious about, because it seems like some of the things they got really shystered on, but I feel like they're doing Werebear a good service. So we're definitely going to try that out for sure this weekend. It's going to be fun. So I'm just going to wrap this up here. Those are my thoughts. If you got any thoughts of your own, you got any comments, you got any suggestions, you got any ideas or anything you want to share, feel free to put them in the comment section down below. Yeah, you know, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, if you want to see more from my channel, if you want to watch any of my gameplay videos, if you want to get notified every time I post a new video, if you want to get notified every time I go live here on YouTube once I start streaming again, if you want to see my adventures through Server Slam this weekend, as either a barbarian or a druid. I'm probably gonna flip a coin. Hit that subscribe button, man. Just do it. Hit that subscribe button. Help my channel grow. Help keep me motivated to keep posting these things up for you guys. And just earn my love in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what else I can say to try to get you to subscribe. But hey, just enjoy the video. Have fun. It keeps me happy to know that my viewers are happy. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully I get to see you guys this weekend if I do stream, and if not, at least if I post the videos. I hope you guys enjoy the videos, and I will see you all in the next one.